Congratulations, your offer was accepted. You are officially under contract on a new home. Now everyone is texting you. Your mom is already planning the housewarming party and you are sitting there thinking, okay, what do I actually have to do next? So whether you are buying or selling, the period between under contract and closing can feel like a blur of deadlines, paperwork, and phone calls. But it doesn't have to be completely overwhelming if you know what to expect. In today's video, I'm walking you through exactly what happens after you go under contract, step by step, specifically for the state of Illinois. That's where I am. We're covering both sides, buyers and sellers, because this process affects everyone at the table. Stay with me because there are a few things in here that can seriously trip people up, and I don't want that to be you. So let's go and learn what happens after you get under contract. Step 1. The moment the contract is fully signed, the clock starts. And I mean that literally. Illinois has a very specific time-sensitive process that kicks off the second that last signature lands on the contract. That would mean your contract is fully executed. So what is this process? Well, it's called the attorney review period. And it's one of the most important and probably most misunderstood parts of buying or selling a home in Illinois. So let's break it down. Once the contract is signed, you have 5 days, not calendar days, 5 business days for your attorney to review the contract with you. And truthfully, attorneys usually extend this out and they try to get it done within 10 business days. But this is the attorney review period. In Illinois, this is standard practice. It's not optional. It's actually written into the contract and it's there to protect you. Your attorney can negotiate contract modifications during this window. Things like timelines, contingencies, or specific terms. Once that 5-day window closes and both attorneys sign off on it, the contract becomes binding. So my pro tip, get your attorney lined up before you go under contract. Now they don't have to review the contract first. It's something that's built into the contract, and I have great attorneys that I can recommend. So if you don't have an attorney, ask your realtor for a referral. Step 3, happening at the exact same time, buyers are going to need to make arrangement for your earnest money. So this is the deposit that shows the seller you are serious. And in Illinois, your earnest money deadline is based on the contract term. So there's a number your realtor filled in. So you want to carefully check that date and don't assume it's the same as in your last deal. So here's what's changed though. Personal checks are largely a thing of the past. I love a good personal check, but I'm like old. So most earnest money is now wired, and that goes directly from your bank account. It's not a cashier's check, it's not a money order, and it's definitely not a credit card. Your lender will flag that immediately. You cannot wire earnest money from a credit card. Full stop. Okay, can't happen. I had someone ask me yesterday this. It has to come from your bank account, and your lender needs to be able to trace those funds as part of the underwriting process. Now, what if your parents are gifting you your earnest money or your down payment? That's totally fine, and there's a process for gift payments. But the money has to flow through your bank account, and then there's some forms they're gonna have to sign off on that says they're gifting you the money. Your parents will need to complete a gift letter for the underwriting process. This is a document that just states the funds they're giving you is a gift and not a loan, and the lender's going to require it. More on underwriting in a moment. One thing you should note, wire fraud is very real in real estate transactions. It happens a lot, and the title companies are so good about catching it, but you want to make sure you verify wire instructions with your attorney or the title company on the phone before you send anything that you've received in an email. Step 4, you need to schedule a home inspection. This is a deadline that sneaks up on buyers and sellers in Illinois because it needs to be done within 5 business days. In Wisconsin, it's within 10 days. But this comes up really fast, and so we move at a very fast clip. So that very tight window, and we have to coordinate everything because we're juggling 4 different schedules. We have your schedule, your realtor's schedule because they have to be present at the home inspection. We have the seller's schedule because we're going to ask them to leave for a few hours, and then the home inspector. So you need to be flexible during this process. Flexibility is a key. If you are in a demanding 9-to-5 job and you can only do weekdays at noon, you need to build in that flexibility. I have a lot of time buyers will say, can we do a home inspection on a weekend? Now, I'll be honest, not all home inspectors work on the weekend. So sometimes you need to expect to pay like $500 or more for a home inspection. I would say $600 to $800 is probably a sweet spot. And then you have to decide if you want additional testing. Like common add-on testing is a sewer scope. So that'll check the public sewer line for root intrusion, pipe condition, and blockages. It's very expensive to repair. You may want to pay for a radon test. Illinois has elevated radon levels in many areas, including Lake County and Cook County. If the radon level in a home is above 4.0, the EPA recommends mitigation. And this is something the sellers may pay for because they're going to have to disclose that to any future buyer. You may want a chimney inspection for older homes. Are these things worth the cost? Well, yes, because a sewer line replacement could easily cost over $10,000. A mitigation system is around $2,000 to $2,500. So you always want to maybe plan for these things ahead. I'd rather have you do the inspection up front and then find out later there's an issue. So the home inspection is not to panic you. It's just to tell you what you're expecting in the house you're buying. What should you expect? How old is the furnace? How old is the roof? How old is the AC? So I would never recommend that you waive a home inspection. And then for sellers, this is likely the last time the buyer will physically be in your home before the final walkthrough. So please make arrangements to leave your house. Give them that time to walk through the house, speak freely with the realtor, speak freely with the home inspector. So leave for a few hours. They're going to be in every single room, the attic, the crawl space. Don't make it awkward. Let the buyer do their due diligence without you hovering over them. Step 5, the inspection results. You need to negotiate the repairs. Now, you may have made an as-is offer where you didn't ask for repairs, but when you get the inspection report back and there's going to be a list of items, in most cases, both sides will negotiate those items. The buyers can request a repair or a credit, and the sellers can agree, counter, or decline. So for buyers, focus on safety issues in major systems, roof, HVAC, electrical, plumbing. Don't nickel and dime. Just because an item is old doesn't mean you can ask for them to replace it. If it's in working order, it says that in the contract, then you really shouldn't ask for any repairs regarding that. You need to prioritize what matters the most and work with your realtor and attorney on what to ask for. Now, sellers, please respond promptly. Don't drag your feet. It doesn't help. Let's keep this process going. Talk to your attorney and your realtor about what's reasonable to fix, what to credit, and what to decline. And have that conversation quickly. Your realtor and your attorney are your guides through this. Lean on them, and this is where having an experienced professional in your corner really pays off. At the same time, all of this is happening, another major step is happening behind the scenes, and that's title work. And this is really what the attorney does. The seller's attorney will provide all the title documents, and the buyer's attorney has to review them to make sure there's no title issues, unpaid liens, or other surprises that need to be cleared up before closing. We are talking tax returns, pay stubs, bank statements, employment verification. Whatever your lender asks for, get it to them and quickly. Delays here ripple forward and can push your closing date. And here's a big one. Please listen carefully. Do not make any large purchases on credit if you are under contract. Do not open any new credit accounts. Do not buy a new car. Do not purchase new furniture on a stored credit card. No buy now, pay later. No appliances, nothing. Your credit profile is being monitored by your lender right now until closing, and a change in that debt to income ratio can delay or tank your loan approval. And another tip, do not change jobs without talking to your lender first. I know it's tempting. You are buying a house and you want to fill it with all the greatest things, but please wait until after closing. That couch can wait 2 weeks. Step 7, now comes the appraisal. This is ordered after attorney review. Once attorney review is complete and everything is fully agreed on, your lender will order the appraisal. The buyer pays for this, and it's typically a few $100s, and it's the lender's way of confirming the home is actually worth what you agreed to pay for it. If the appraisal comes in at or above the purchase price, great, maybe you have some instant equity, and you move forward with the contract. But if it comes in lower than the purchase price, we need to negotiate with the seller, increase your down payment to cover the gap, or in some cases, you might walk away if we can't come to an agreement. Your realtor and your attorney will guide you through this process. And buyers, don't forget, you also need to shop for homeowners insurance before closing. Your lender will require proof of coverage, so don't leave that until the last minute. As closing gets closer, both buyers and sellers should also make plans for utilities. Sellers, you need to schedule the shutoff dates, and buyers, you need to transfer service into your name effective on the closing date. Step 8, the logistics of moving and closing day. All right, sellers, this is for you. Let's talk about logistics, because this is an area where if you do it wrong, it becomes a terrible closing day for everyone. You really can underestimate how much time it takes to load up your house. So the minute you're under contract, you need to start figuring out where you're going next. And if you have somewhere lined up, great. Maybe it's living in a rental, living with family. Maybe you have a second home or you've purchased a new home. Let's nail that down. Do not wait until 2 weeks before closing to figure out your housing situation. And here's the thing, call your movers early. Good movers get booked out, especially in the spring and summer. Get quotes, get it scheduled, and give yourself buffer time. Be a day or two out before closing. Please, if possible, do not move on your closing date. It always takes so much longer and the house is a mess. One time when I was moving, the movers picked up my couch, which was very low to the ground. And literally, I had little kids at the time. There was like the couch sectional outline made of Cheerios and Matchbox cars. I had to clean. And if I was doing that the same day as closing, it would be a very stressful time period for everyone. Step 9, the final walkthrough. We're so close to handing over the keys. So the day of closing, or maybe the day before, the buyers are going to do a final walkthrough of the house. This is their chance to confirm that the house is in the condition agreed upon in the contract, that any negotiated repairs were completed, and that nothing major has changed since the last time they saw it. Now you have to understand, if they checked in the contract all the boxes to keep the refrigerator, the washer dryer, your water softener system, the hardscape, the patio, maybe the play set in the backyard, you can't take it, sellers. You can't switch out the refrigerator in your kitchen with the garage fridge. You can't take the Ring doorbell if Ring doorbell was checked. So make sure you look at that part of your contract, because I see this happen all the time, that sellers try to be sneaky and be like, oh, I'm gonna take my good washer and dryer, I'm gonna give them a secondhand one. Please don't do that. It has to be the same way that they saw the house when it was under contract. All right, let's just review this whole process. Quick recap. You've signed the contract. Attorney review starts. Earnest money is delivered. Inspections happen. Underwriting begins. Appraisal gets ordered. And before you know it, you're at the final walkthrough and the closing table. There was a lot happening in a very short amount of time. Maybe 30 days, maybe less, maybe a little longer. But you need to know what to expect, and that knowledge will make everything less stressful. If this video was helpful, hit the like button, subscribe for future videos. I post every week. And if you know someone who's about to go under contract on a house, make sure you share this with them. Subscribe if you haven't already, and drop your questions in the comments below. I read every single one, and I will see you in next week's video.